Howdy, Internet neighbors. Welcome to Easy Expert Challenges. Way back in episode 1, I said that I used the solo fade build presented in that episode to defeat a total of 11 expert challenges. That's the build you're looking at right here. For the 8 remaining challenges in this series, this same build remains, in my opinion, the optimal approach to those particular challenges. Rather than run the same build 8 times, I have decided to record a single video for the purpose of instructing how to run the optimized solo fade build. This video will play shortly and will be the same video for episodes 18 through 25. You can also revisit episode 1 for a different video in which the build is run. In addition to this instructional video, I will include commentary on each specific challenge and why the solo fade build is the optimal approach. Thank you for joining me in this series. I'm working on some more regular content to post in the future, including some random mutator runs. In the meantime, though, please enjoy the following expert challenge video. Arcane Focus annoys me because I feel that Arcane Allergy is a bait. And the reason I feel that, despite Spell Weakness 1 being undeniably good when given to literally every bad guy on the train, is because of Tithe, which you may remember from the Stewardship Expert Challenge. Losing half your cash is absolutely crippling to the extent that in the Stewardship Challenge we optimize that specifically with Memorial Fund to ensure that we can make up some of that loss. However, we're not looking to spend a whole lot of money on the solo fade run, basically just holdovers at magic shops for our engine pieces. So we're able to bypass for the most part, the Tithe mutator. Likewise, Days 2 is an absolute nightmare. Because that essentially means that you have to play all of your units turn 1 on top floor in order for them to swing. But when you're dealing most of your damage with spikes, like we do in the solo fade build, we honestly don't care if our unit is dazed or not. So, we're good to go there. It just feels like a bait to me because all of the spell damage builds are going to be very dependent upon magic shops to ensure that the damage is maximized and the costs are minimized. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough resources to effectively run that build. So that's why, despite the obvious direction the game seems to want you to go with this challenge, I've gone with solo fade because I do not consider this advantage to be anywhere near enough to overcome the 2 major disadvantages, and the optimal path is one that bypasses those disadvantages altogether. So let's move on to the instructional video. This is the instructional video for episodes 18 through 25. Okay, we have our crushing demise. The bosses are not irrelevant, but might as well go ahead and take a look at them. Pushback, is that Pushback Talos? Yeah, that's Pushback Talos. We don't care about him because we are going to be only fielding 1 unit. Ragefell, something to watch out for. Seraph the Patient, also something to watch out for. I'll get into those more as we actually get to those bosses. Here is our Petrified Crucible and Little Icarus. If we can avoid taking shards on Ring 1, we should definitely do so, because Ring 1 and 2 are going to be the hardest part of the run. And Ring 1 especially has a couple of different, yep, as a matter of fact, here it is. This is absolutely the worst Ring 1 for us because of the Apprentices of Light, because they will kill Little Icarus and then gain damage shields for it. But we can go ahead and take on the spikes here. We don't necessarily care about the spikes. We are going to take some pyre damage for it, because once again, this is the worst ring 1 for Icarus Fade. Yep, and there's his damage shield. Ooh, 4 primitive molds in one hand. That is not good. I'm going to go ahead and put a train steward up here to get that collector. Yeah, we did not get our reform, so what I'm gonna do is drip fall him down. Let's buff up the train steward. I'm going to go ahead and Crushing Demise here. I'll do the primitive mold on top because our #1 priority is getting Fade kills. Let's bring Fade down. And get him 1 more kill. Ah, Train Steward stole our kill. We could have been a little bit more careful about that, but we're fine, honestly. Alright, none of these are part of the plan. Nor are any of these, so we skip all that. We always want to swing Merchant of Magic. Sell off this Awoken banner. We're looking for holdovers. I do want to put a -1 into Crushing Demise. That is our first holdover target. Reroll. And we got a holdover, so the first thing we hold over is Crushing Demise. Let's put a -1 into the Root Seeds. Alright, now, the hardest part is going to be getting 100 shards before Seraph. So we're looking at 25 at the very end in rings 7 and 8. There's 15 in this horde, and the rest are going to have to come from temples. Given that we do not have any damaging spells, we are probably going to have to in ring 3 here, infuse a train steward for 25. And in the meantime, I think it's safe to go ahead and take this money. And going into ring 2, Mark of Invasion is great. We are definitely going to take pyre damage for it, but it will get Fade more kills. And that, for the first 2 rings, that is our #1 priority. Oh yeah, we are going to overstack a floor because of Hasty Boy down there. Yeah. And we've drawn 2 primitive molds in our opening hand. Again, not great. RNG has not been kind to us this run. Is there any point in drip falling one of these? It will save us a point of damage now, but nah, I don't see that there's any point in it. Yeah. Well, there's also not really any harm in it either. Get 3 more kills here, take 3 more fire damage. Alright, we only have the 1 reform, so we'll drop the Crushing Demise here. And we pretty much got the one we wanted to get with it, so that's good. And now we're going to get all 4 kills here, and the pyre damage is going to stop. So now at this point, we want to kill off Little Fade, so that we can reform her and put her on bottom. And we're actually going to get all the kills on bottom. That's very nice. We are now rolling along. Molded will help us be consistent with our reforms. But none of these are part of the plan, so we skip here. Either of these are good routes. I'm going to swing left, mostly because I want to restore some pyre health, but I'm also going to duplicate this held over Crushing Demise. That way we can draw into it faster, and we have some crowd control options for the early waves that do get past us. Don't really have a good intrinsic target here. Or a good -2. So for now, let's go ahead and remove a Trained Steward by infusing it into another one. Take on 25 shards here. And peep the caverns. Penish Yard. The last thing we want is less consistency, so we're just going to plain skip this one. And now we move on to Talos. Yeah, there's no point in dazing Talos right now. So at this point, we have let a healer go by. We're not going to be concerned about him. We're not going to play any Trained Stewards because we don't want to gum up our draws, or we don't want to gum up our reform pool. Once again, we're just letting healers go. We're not concerned about that. We don't want to let that go down below because we do want as many kills as we can get. And Crushing Demise here would have deprived us of a kill. Alright. So, at this point, this is optimal. Faye's going to burn out after killing all 3 of these. I want to hold over 1 Crushing Demise, not necessarily both. Let's go ahead and drop her down to get a little bit of damage. Well, we would get some damage on her, but she's not gonna swing at us. And when Fade swings, he's swinging at the tank here, so it didn't matter in the end. Now what we could do is we could deprive ourselves of one kill here to get some damage on Talos and to potentially get some damage on Talos and reform with more health, but there's really no point in doing that right now. I want to continue to hold over the Crushing Demise. Go ahead and Crushing Demise and reform here. And we'll daze Talos for a round. That gets him down to 1 hit point. But so long as we can draw reform, it's all good. Because we kill here. None of these out of the plan. I was hoping to see Hallowed Halls, but you don't always get what you want. And we have no need for units. And it's always draw. Definitely swinging right here. I'm going to sell off this banner unit. Going to peep this artifact. Not great. Guild marker's worth 25 gold, though. So at this point, our spikes are doing 106 damage because of our Petrified Crucible. So we are pretty much where we want to be, and then we want to be at 220 or above the next time, or before we get to Seraph. Gonna purge a pair of Terrain Stewards. More -1s and looking for more holdover. Okay, next we want to hold over a reform. Go ahead and -1 the reform. I'm gonna re-roll. And honestly, Permafrost isn't bad here for a primitive mold. It gives us a little bit more consistency. Not much, but we're not spending our money on really anything this run, although I am going to buy a purge of this final Train Steward. And now our only dead draws are the actual dead weights. Spell Shield 2 means absolutely nothing to us. Three reforms, opening hand again. That keeps happening to us, and I'm not a fan. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to reform. We're going to Crushing Demise. Reform again. And I'm going to go ahead and Crushing Demise for money. It'll gum up our next draw a little bit, but that's fine. Crushing Demise. And we're going to let the other one go. Go ahead and Crushing Demise here. Sadly, we did not get the one we wanted. So we've held over one Crushing Demise. I want to get this kill here. So we have a guaranteed Crushing Demise and a Reform coming next turn. And we have an easy kill downstairs. Resin Removal is the one card I would consider an exception to the only take this if it is part of the plan. But for consistency's sake, let's not take it. We've already seen some pretty bad RNG this run, and let's not take any unnecessary chances with that. Yeah, we definitely take the removal dupe. There is no universe in which we don't. Removing at this point, our drip falls are not as valuable as they used to be, because any creature that is dazed does not take a swing at our spikes. So daze is a 4-letter word on this run. Now, Dripfall definitely had some uses in the early game, as you saw, but at this point, I think the play is to dupe our Reform. So now we have 2 of each, and we should be very consistent at this point. Any shards we can take in the temple. Let's do the math again. We're at 50 now. This brings us up to 65 and 75. So we need 25 more in these 2 temples. So let's take what we have when we can find it. Make a root seeds free. And let's go ahead and put our Steel Enhancer here on the Purge. Now that we are consistent with our killing and reforming, we don't need the additional health as much as we used to. +6 is not completely unconcerning, but we're consistent enough that I think we can easily take this trial. There's 1 or 2 bad draws that that hose us over, but I think we're past that now. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're not going to kill off all 3, but we can potentially kill 2 if we can hit the middle with Crushing Demise. Wait, no, we can't. We gave them +6, so yeah, no, never mind. It's all good. reform. Crushing Demise. And reform. We'll worry about killing him before he hits our pyre. Alright, so we'll kill him off. Kill him off. And then come downstairs. Yeah, in retrospect, I probably wouldn't have taken this trial if I were not 100% confident in my ability to pilot the build. Alright, so we're looking at 47 health. Yeah, that hits all three. We don't need to hold over 2 crushing demises at this point. We're good. And I do want to hold over the second reform here. So what we're going to do here is go ahead and get the 2 kills here. I don't want to kill and reform. So what we'll do is we'll hold over 1 molded. And that's all we should need. And then we'll kill Crystal Cloak on mid. We still want to keep an eye toward getting Fade as many kills as we can get her. None of that, and none of that helps with the plan. So skipping everything. Over here, we're at the point now where we have pretty much purged everything we want to purge except for that last steel enhancer. So the only value over here is the money, but we're flush, so let's go get 1 free artifact and look at some more artifacts. Neither of these are especially exciting. But I suppose this is worth 25 gold. Under no circumstances do you ever give our Fade endless. We want to keep reforming her. I guess combustible wax isn't the worst call here. So let's take a look at what we have coming up. We have 15 and 10 shards, so we can look and see if there's anything that makes sense in this temple. We don't have to take anything. We are getting our purge on again in Ring 7 because we want to see the Merchant of Magic. And then in Ring 8 we got a removal dupe. So there's no point in buying a purge here. Let's take a peep in the temple. Intrinsic and Spell Chain. Now, we don't have a good intrinsic target. Alright, Rage Fill. We did not draw into our means of killing off Fade, so we just take the one kill we have and then worry about this 15x2 later. Okay. Now we got a 50-50 chance of hitting the one we want here. And we did not. But we are going to draw into our second Crushing Demise here. So I am not terribly concerned at this point. I want to come down bottom. And let him go for now. Missed him again. Yeah. I am a lot more okay with letting that 9-2 hit our pyre than I am this 15x2. Okay. We're going to Crushing Demise so that we can reform Fade. Crushing Demise again to get rid of that 9-2. Then bring Fade down below for the easy kill. I want to hold over one Crushing Demise and our Molded. Going to hold over one Crushing Demise in the Molded again. And we kill on bottom. Yeah, there's our Hallowed Halls. Bit later than I wanted to see, because we no longer have a temple for a -2 chance. But once again, as always, draw. Wow, look at that, gnarled root. It's nice. It's not necessary, but it's definitely nice. So at 152, we are now doing 306 damage from our spikes. We kill literally anything that hits us at this point, except for mini bosses in the Divinity waves. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the steel enhancer, and at this point, I think it's safe to remove a primitive mold. This is our last Merchant of Magic shop. So, let's put a -1 into Hallowed Halls and see what we get on the reroll. Permafrost. Suppose we could permafrost another primitive mold. Once again, not necessary, but nice. The Historian shows up on ring 7. If Petty Theft didn't say enemy unit, it might be worth considering to kill off Little Fade, but it doesn't say that. It says enemy unit. So we'll just take aggressive here. I don't anticipating us actually losing any waves to hit the pyre, but you never know. It's free. Living armor? No, the general. Okay. The general's a little scary because he actually can just one-shot fade. We do not, however, care about spell shield, so we can go ahead and just take 400 free gold here. Now, this is a pretty good opening hand for us, all things considered. 6, 11. Yep, we're good. All right, so what we're going to do... Hallowed Halls, Crushing Demise, and Molded. And that should get both kills. Three. Yeah, we should have all 3 kills down here. So what I'm going to do is Crushing Demise for money and to keep it held over. And I'm going to keep this Molded held over. What I'm going to do is go ahead and kill off and reform Fade. And what this is going to do for us is build up his health so that maybe he can survive more than 1 hit from the general in Relentless. I'm confident of our ability to take out the general over over 3 floors. Let's hold over 1 of each here. But it's always best to hedge your bets when you can. Continue to hold over our good stuff. Alright. Just reform him over and over. Nope, we do not survive more than one hit. But what if we continue the kill and reform? And then, because we've held over all four, we can do it again on the mid floor. Or we could just reform Fade, since he only has 70 hit points left, and call it a day. Once again, you do not ever want Endless on Icarus Fade. And none of these help us with the plan. Alright, the dupe in this one is a no-brainer. We want that free Hallowed Halls. Now we have our 100 shards. At this point, let's kill off one of our non-free root seeds. And a primitive bolt. This brings us down to 16 cards. So we should be able to get our holdover targets very quickly. Light's Gift is a trap here, don't even think about it. Hammered Chestplate's definitely not bad though. It gives Fade some health in the first round, which is always good. I like Cursed Vines here because before we took the +5 health artifact, Vine Grasp could kill off Fade at turn 1. So I think at this point what we do is we just save our cash so that our Pyre does 115 damage in the event that we actually let a mini-boss go. And we move on. Seraph the Patient has to be approached the same way as the General because we need to assume that Seraph is going to one-shot Fade every time. Oh, that's unfortunate. We didn't get any of our reforms. But we'll get our kill down below without issue. And we'll hold over our Crushing Demise and kill off this 15-3 in one shot. Oh yeah, this is great. Okay. So what we're going to do is not incant where we can't help it. Kill off the 15-3 here. Just keep killing and reforming Fade as much as we possibly can. Outside of Seraph's line of sight. And we can put the root seeds down now to avoid incanting in front of Seraph. We actually got to play one of our frozen primitive molds. We're already up to 46 health, so we already survived one shot from him as it stands. If we can keep this up, we're going to be golden in this fight. Rather than incant a whole bunch, I'm just going to wait for him to come up top and kill him next round. We are doing good. Unfortunately, I wasn't smart enough to cast the root seed, so we're going to incant a couple times here. But that's fine. Yeah, we kind of got lucky with that crushing demise. We got pretty much exactly what we wanted to get with it. Not that difficult at this point. Just kill and reform. And try to do as much of it outside of Seraph's line of sight as you can. Alright, it should be known that he still gets his incant and rally triggers, so... Oh, by the way, I know I was playing this poorly earlier, but using Hallowed Halls as a molded or primitive mold when you don't have to is suboptimal because you want the kill and the reform. That's the value of Hallowed Halls. And we actually kill on bottom. So, yes, Seraph the patient must be respected, but he need not be feared. And now we go to the Divinity. And now it's question box time. 280. So each hit does 560 damage. So we need Divinity to hit us 9 times. Minus whatever we can actually hit him with. So what we're going to do is Crushing Demise down here. Didn't get who I wanted to get. Now we're going to go mid. And we're going to trade some blows. We're going to do 1696 damage to mid. Once again, missing who we wanted to hit. Now we're going to go up top. Do 1152. And now we're going to do our thing on top, using Crushing Demise to kill as many of the riffraff as we can. And we should have the kill next turn. Unless I have done my math completely wrong here. You could have also played it safe and played bottom elevated as needed, but this way is more fun. And worth more points if you care about that kind of thing. And for style points, let's kill him on mid. Okay, and that is the instructional video for Solo Fade. This is the optimal build for all the remaining expert challenges showcased in episodes 18 through 25. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you in our next series.